Welcome to My Designed Life.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us at the Wholepreneur Summit, where we've brought experts from all around the world to support your mind, body, spirit, and business. Today, we are going to talk about branding, and specifically within finding your own unique space to stand out and connect with your audience. Our guest today is someone I collaborate with often because he is action-focused, always full of specific tips and steps, and you never leave a conversation with him without learning something new. If you are registered for the summit, then you have a worksheet that was sent to you. So make sure you grab that because we are going to work. Like I said, he is about action. So you're going to make some plans right now. Don't worry if you don't have the worksheet, just grab a pen and paper and follow along. And then afterwards, go register for the Wholepreneur Summit so you get all of the worksheets, freebies, giveaways, and replays. All right, so let's get started.
What's up, people? I'm Coach Chris, and today I want to explain how you can create your own lane. Now, this is very, very important for entrepreneurs and business owners. And excuse my hair, I know it looks crazy. We got the virus going on, but I'm not here to talk to you about that. I know you have a ton of people talking your head off about it. So we're going to focus on something else, right? Let's focus in a completely different direction. So what I want to explain to you is how you can create your own lane. Now, I hope you have the worksheet available. I did want to make something for you so we can go way in depth. And keep in mind, I'm not going to cover everything that's on that worksheet. I just don't have the time. But I want to make sure you understand the 3 key things you need to do to create your own lane. Number 1 is we have branding layers. And this is my process of helping my clients niche down. And I hate the niching word. It's so overused and most people don't even do it right. So I want to go deeper on that and show you how you can make that happen. Number 2 is unique positioning. You have to position yourself in the market so that you don't have any competition. And when I say no competition, I mean no competition. Like nobody's in the way. Nobody can stop you from being who you are and you displaying your greatness. Number 3 is the messaging pyramid. You know you got to have a good message. It has to be dialed in. You have to be on point with that, man. And the stronger your message is, the easier it is to attract your ideal clients and customers. So let's get started. First of all, the branding layers. This one I'm going to go all the way through because it doesn't take too much time. But with the branding layers, you have to understand you want to be known for one thing, specifically one big thing. Not to say you can only cover one thing, you can only sell products in one area, but you have to build your brand around one big idea. And that starts off with the branding layers of who you do all of this for. If you don't know the who, it's really hard to get to the what and all that other stuff. Like the who is extremely important. So on layer 1, that's the most basic level. That's the beginning. Most people that start off with their business, they start off on layer 1 and they stay there. Like I see this on Facebook all the time. I help entrepreneurs build a business. That's really bland. Like what kind of entrepreneur? Like in what kind of business? Like who are you really talking to? You got to be clear on that, because if you just say I help entrepreneurs, I mean, how specific is that? How do I know what kind of entrepreneur you're talking about? I don't. So basic layers, the basic layer starts at the top. Like that's right here. Now we go a step down. This is the level I call detail. And detailed is where you get a little more specific. You're going to stand out a lot more. So detailed is when you get not really deep into who they are just yet. And this is a second level I see a lot of people get to. So one of the examples I have for you is I help married women live a healthier lifestyle. The reason why this is a detailed you're on a second level of the layers is because it's women and then married women. Right? You see how detailed that is. You're not just basically saying I help women. Like that's really surface level stuff. Married women is down here. Now, layer 3 is where you get descriptive. This is where it gets good. Instead of just helping married women, now you can go a level deeper. I help married women earning 6 figures live a healthier lifestyle. See how descriptive that is? It's like when you get to level 3 of the descriptive branding layers, now what you're doing is you're dialing into a specific person. So if I put up a headline Like if that was my bio on Facebook, like, or my bio on Twitter or Instagram, I help married women earning six figures live a healthier lifestyle. If you're married and you're a woman, you have a great business, but you're not in great shape, you're not eating the best, you want to lose some weight, that immediately speaks to you. You are my ideal customer, right? So you see how it goes. Levels 1, 2, 3 is pretty basic, right? And I want you to understand that branding layers are extremely important, because if you just stop at the basic level where most people really are, then what are you doing? You're going to be fighting for clients with most of those people. You're going to always struggle to get clients and customers because those people are always right there with you, like always in the way. They're always right there selling to the same person you're talking to, trying to help the same person you're helping. You're always in this constant battle of this is my ideal customer, and you're fighting people for clients. You don't want that. You want to build a business where it stands on its own, right? You don't have any competition. That's why create your own lane is such a big thing to me. And so there's one more layer at the bottom. That's the mastered layer. And the master layer is my favorite because that's when you reach the point where you know who you're talking to. You know how to get detailed on their lifestyle. You can get descriptive about who they are and what they're experiencing on a day-to-day basis. And on the master level, that's when you can speak to their pain points. What I love about the master level is you're not only speaking to their pain points, now you know what solutions they want. And this works so well. Now, when you get to the master level, what happens is you can talk to their pain points better. You can write amazing headlines. You can create amazing products. Everything you do in business gets 10 times easier, man. Like for me, I know I used to struggle with copywriting. I struggled with headlines for the longest time. I struggled with email copy. All of that stuff was hard. But as I got more specific on the type of client I work with, it became so much easier. Like in the beginning, I said, yeah, I help podcasters build their brand. It's like, it's too many podcasts. There's almost 1 million shows out there. Did you know that? It's too many. It's too many for me to say I help everybody. Now it's more specific, where I help experienced podcasters who are struggling to grow their audience, build a brand, and generate revenue. Now, you see how much different that is? It's so many layers down. That's how you separate yourself and create your own market. So for this section, branding layers, I really want you to understand. You want to get deeper and deeper on your ideal customers. It doesn't matter what content you create, what solutions you have. None of that stuff really is impactful if you don't know who you're talking to. But what I can say is once you figure this out, like who you're talking to, things they're experiencing, some of their pain, everything else that you do after is going to be way easier. The headlines, the websites, the opt-in pages, like it all gets 10 times easier because now you've created your own market. You don't have to try to become the biggest in this market. You don't have to try to fight for clients and customers anywhere. You don't have to. You created your own area so that you're always attracting people to you. Once you create your own lane, you're always attracting people. They're always coming to you. The work really slows down. All you have to do is be yourself and you attract those people. This is how you do it, the branding layer. So remember, level 1 is very basic. Level 2 is detailed. 3 is descriptive. And level 4 is when you've mastered that market. And once you get to mastered, you're usually in your own lane now. Because, and this, I'll say this too, I want to be clear on this. I'm not saying that you don't have any competition. What I want to be clear on is you will have literally a small percentage, right? Like, let's take coaches, for example. A lot of coaches coach coaches. I see this all the time. The problem is most of these coaches don't have their own systems. They don't coach a specific type of coach. They don't help coaches in a certain way. Like they don't do anything that's different from other coaches that coach coaches. So they end up in a Facebook group asking the same questions like, well, what are you struggling with? And how are your sales this month? It's the same generic BS. But if you get detailed, as you go deeper, I'm telling you, as you get to that master level, you can perform at a higher rate. So you definitely want to build out those branding layers, man. It's going to change your business forever. forever. You will never ever struggle to get customers. Well, I don't want to go that far, but you won't struggle to get customers again. So understand that. Strategy 2, this is unique positioning. This is one of my favorites because positioning is one of those things that as you set it up, you don't have to do it again. Like once you set your market up and say, okay, this is where I am, you don't have to go back and do it all over again. It's not something you have to repeat. It's that basic, right? So one of the immutable laws of marketing, I forget who wrote the book, but one of the laws that stuck with me was create your own lane, create your own positioning. And that's so important because when you're in a market first and you have the entire thing to yourself, now anybody else that comes in is second to you, right? Like you were first there. You did it before anybody else. And when you do it that way, what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to where anybody else that comes after is following your footsteps, and you'll always be the first one presented like, oh, Chris did that first. Anybody else that does it, they always think of me first. I probably set the standard for certain things too. That's what it means when you create your own lane. So the key to positioning is to do things different than other people. And one of the best things you can do is create a system for how you deliver the solutions to your customers, right? I'll give you an example. I can name 50 companies right now or people that can help you launch a podcast. Well, my brand, the Elite Podcast Marketing Agency, we have built several systems that go into our bigger system, the Podcast Launch Kit. So I can create content from one of our systems, just one out of 15 of our systems, create that content and deliver it for free to my prospects. Now, what that does is it gives me way more credibility than my competition or whatever competition is out there. I'm separating myself and positioning myself in the market because people see, wow, this is just one of the systems they have. That's amazing. It's that kind of proof that people want to see. So the systems that you're using to deliver solutions are part of your positioning. Now, the key is you don't want to obviously give away the entire system. You honestly shouldn't be able to. If you can give away your entire system for free in a YouTube video, it's probably not that good. I'm being honest with you. But your system, like if you help women live a healthier lifestyle, I'm pretty sure you have workouts and meal plans and specific methods, days they're supposed to do certain things and certain stretches and a whole plan that they have to go through. You should be able to take a part of that, deliver it to your ideal prospect, right? Because when you deliver part of your system to them for free, what you're doing is you're establishing yourself as the expert in that area, right? You aren't like the other people who, like if you go on Instagram, you're going to see nothing but trainers. I kid you not. Every fitness trainer is posting pictures of themselves in bikinis or shirtless, like every single one. Now, if this is something you could do that's different, this is a positioning strategy that nobody thinks about that works. If every other trainer is on Instagram trying to help all the people who are probably already in shape because they're all in the same place, like, why don't you go the completely opposite route? And I'll give you an example. Instead of going on Instagram, posting your workouts and stuff, why not go on LinkedIn and share content, right? And this is what I mean. Let me finish. What if you went on LinkedIn and you showed the business people, like let's say you wanted to help doctors and lawyers or high level professionals commit to their workout routine or something like that, right? Let's say you put up a video there that's 2 minutes and you show them, hey, I know you're busy in the office all the time. I know you have a crazy lifestyle. What if I showed you how you could get a nice workout in during your lunch break at the office? Like, it's amazing, right? That's the kind of content that's going to thrive. And then there's the key too with the positioning is if you want to position yourself like every other trainer, you would post that content on Instagram. Like, you're not going to get anywhere with that though. But if you take that content to LinkedIn, you completely obliterate any competition you have because most trainers aren't on LinkedIn. Most trainers aren't trying to help the people who really need it the most. We're going to be honest. Like a lot of the people that work in offices are the most unhealthy people. So when you go to LinkedIn and you position your brand there, like, hey, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm one of the best trainers here. I'm the best trainer here for these types of people. I can help you develop a workout plan, a meal plan, all of this stuff. That separates you. Now you've created your an amazing, unique position. You don't really, again, the whole thing about creating your own lane is making it to where you don't have as much competition as you would as the average coach or author or speaker in your market. When you take the time to present your business, your brand this way, you eliminate a lot of the headaches that make selling difficult, that make it hard for you to build brand. You don't have to deal with that. Like if you're on LinkedIn and you post fitness content, now granted, you would have to do a lot with the creative because you want it to stand out. Yeah, you want it to really hit home. But the return on that investment is going to be way better than posting the same content on LinkedIn, on Instagram. Because we know Instagram is crowded with influencers and trainers and all of these people that are in the fitness world. Is LinkedIn though? No, it's not. You can go straight to LinkedIn and dominate there. So when creating your unique positioning, understand you have to do, I like to say it like this, just do the complete opposite of what the market is doing. I'll give you another example. For me, I know that with the Elite Podcast Marketing Agency, we do podcast production. You can pay us monthly to produce your show. What I see a lot of podcast production companies doing, they market themselves as, oh, hey, we can help you save time. We edit the podcast so you don't have to. And while that's a good position, I've seen over 100 companies with the same position. Nobody is trying to do anything different. So I said, okay. Instead of just telling them we can save them time, because they know anybody can do that, I want to show them we can grow your show for you. Now that's a completely different approach. Yeah, we can handle the editing and the production. We can do all of that stuff. That's easy. But what we can really do that nobody else can is grow your podcast. And we have these systems to use it. We have these tools. When you, again, that me presenting that to my prospects is going to position us differently as an agency. We aren't just another podcast production agency now, because people know they can come to us to grow their show. Like that's the kind of approach you want to have, where you basically create your own world. Like I'm not just a regular podcast editor. I'm not. We have an entire agency that can do a lot of other things. Editing is just a small piece of what we do. So that's how you position yourself, is you do things completely different from everyone else. If you see everybody else is posting on this app and this group, go a completely opposite way and do things differently. Now I'll say this too. I'll be honest with you. I'm level with you. In the beginning, it's a little difficult. It is, because you're establishing the foundation, right? You're the first person to do something different. So it might be difficult in the beginning. It might be a little hard. But what I can promise you is if you stick with it and you remain consistent, your brand is going to take off. And what I mean by consistent is sharing content consistently and engaging with prospects consistently, right? When you do those things, it's going to build brand fast. Like I can say in 90 days, you can have an efficient, unique positioning strategy if you're consistent with it. So another piece to this area I want to let you know about is the content part, because part of positioning is putting it out there. And the way people see you and they notice your brand is it's only two ways. Either you have a lot of content out or you're running ads. Simple. If you don't have money to run ads, and what I mean by run ads is like you need a nice chunk of change. If you're not running ads, you don't have the money for that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. You just have to put out content. Pretty simple, right? But with this content, you got to find a method that works for you. Make sure you deliver your message consistently and engage. Those three things are going to help your content thrive when you're positioning your brand. So like I explained with the workout video on LinkedIn, that's the content. The messaging in there should always be, hey, if you're you're on LinkedIn, you're with business people, professionals. Hey, you're trying to live a healthier lifestyle. You want to get more fit. You gotta get this plan. Check out this video right here where I show you a few quick office ab exercises. Boom. Like your message is always the same thing. You're driving it home, right? That's a major key. And then you got to engage. When people comment on your posts and ask questions, you answer them. When they send you messages and ask you questions, you answer them. And I say this content thing because it's not really hard. If you're a solopreneur, you can do this. I've done it myself as a solopreneur. Very simple. Understand what your message is with your unique position. Understand that position that you want to have, and then drive it home, right? Schedule 3 videos for an entire week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, to go on that platform that you want to dominate. Then when people start engaging, okay, you engage back, answer their questions, give them feedback, always. Like, that's what's going to build that connection. And one of the things I always say is content plus conversations equals conversions. When you post the content, that's going to start a conversation in the comments. It's going to start a dialogue. Some people are going to message you and ask more questions. After they ask those questions, and that's the conversation part, it's going to lead to a conversion. Even if they don't buy now, they're going to buy later. So those are some very key elements to positioning your brand uniquely. Like, I want you to understand, you have to do this part, because if you don't, it's really difficult to talk over the noise. Like, when I was a podcast editor, it was super hard to get clients because the only thing I would tell people is, I can save you time. And I mean, how unique is that? Like, if you search podcast production right now, one of the main things every company has on their website is saving time. And I mean, that's okay, but that's the most basic level. What's next? What else can you do? And I'm telling you, once you figure that part out, your brand will never be the same. I say that a lot. I say that a whole lot. I know. All right. So run out of time here. Lastly, we have the messaging pyramid. And I know you're probably thinking, why is this first? I like to put the messaging last because I think some people can get stuck on it. And in the beginning, when we cover the branding layers and who you want to work with and how and all that stuff, then we talk about the positioning. Adding in the message at the end is kind of better because you're not too stuck on that part. If you start off with messaging, a lot of people get stuck there and they can't get past it. It's like a roadblock. Like, they're like, damn, I don't know what my message is. And they'll just think about that for weeks instead of doing the other stuff. Like, you could work on the other things and set a foundation and then come up with the message, and then you can always pivot. Like, I love that. And I'll tell you this, if you're putting out a lot of good content, it's easy to pivot. Like 3 videos a week, that makes it really easy to pivot, like just switch directions. So that's one thing I love about content. So with the messaging pyramid, I'm not going to go over every step, but one of the biggest things in the messaging pyramid is to understand what problem you solve. And I say this because as you go through those branding layers, you're going to find, when you get to the master level, you're going to find pain points, right? I need to understand what problem I solve and what's the biggest issue I solve. Like, out of all the problems that I can solve, out of all the things I can help people with, what is the biggest? What do I want to be known for? For me, I figure you got to go with a problem that is impacting a lot of people, that's costing them either health, money, or time, and that is a time sensitive problem, meaning that it's costing them a lot of time or they need it done in a certain amount of time. So the problem has to be big, meaning it doesn't have to be like, if it's life threatening, that's good. But if your problem that you're solving isn't important and it's not a pressing issue, people won't really want to solve. They don't care. Like, they don't really care. Like, a good example of this is iPhone batteries. Like, a lot of people will tell you that their iPhone batteries are messed up. And the battery is messing up, but it's not really a pressing issue. It's not really a big deal. But the cracked screen, that's a big deal, right? You see more people changing screens than they do fixing batteries. Even though batteries keep the phone alive and all that stuff, it's not a pressing issue, right? You got to think about the problem. What is the issue that your customer is dealing with that is big, that's like really impacting their life? Like, what's a big issue where, like, man, I just can't deal with this. And when you understand that problem, you got to think, okay, how many people is this actually impacting? Because the problem could be big for a small group of people, but it needs to be enough people where it's like, okay, this is worth me putting time and energy into. This is where you do a little bit of research. Like, for me, I like to do my research in Facebook groups. even on Twitter. Like I like to go to Facebook groups and just see what questions people are asking. So another example, when I was setting up the agency, I was like, man, how can we be different? What's the message we want to send? And I realized at the time thing was overdone, like I said. And then I realized that a lot of podcasters, they want to make money from their show. Like they want to get sponsored. And I thought, I've done that. Like I know I've done sponsorship at a high level. I know I can help them get sponsored. So boom, I knew that right then and there, okay, this is a problem that we can solve really well. So we created a product from that. The problem is actually big too, because some podcasters have been hosting a show for 6 months, 9 months, and they don't have any results from it. They don't have a ton of downloads. They haven't built a community, they haven't built a brand, and they have not gotten sponsored. They haven't sold a product. So they're like, man, why the hell am I doing this? I'm wasting time. So when I come in and say, hey, look, your problem is you don't have a strategy to get something from your show, I can help you get there. They're immediately interested because I can solve their big problem. Part two, I know that their problem is that this problem is relevant because it's with a lot of podcasters. In my market, monetize your podcast or get sponsored is one of the most searched terms on Google and YouTube. So again, therefore, I know this is a big issue. When people start a podcast, they're trying to, some people before they even start their show, they're trying to figure out like, how can I make money from this? If I can't make money from it, I don't even want to buy a microphone. Which I get it. I'm not mad. I understand that. So again, I know, okay, this is a problem that's relevant to a lot of people. It's a big issue. And once you figure that out, now you can go and create a product or service from that, right? Like that's very, very important. So when you understand that problem, you got to frame it up a little bit too. And I like to go this way. Here's an example. I understand that podcasters struggle to build their own brand. So I help them stand out and generate revenue from their show. That's a way you can frame up the solution you're bringing to someone's problem, right? See how structured that is? I understand. I understand. I get it. I experienced it. That podcasters, my ideal prospects, struggle to build their brand. That's the problem. They're struggling to build their brand. And you can replace anything there. Struggle to generate revenue, struggle to build an audience, right? That struggle to part is right where the problem goes. And it's very important that you put it there because again, when you're posting this, and this is something I would just tweet out randomly to just attract more people to me. I will post it on Facebook randomly to get more people to comment and ask questions, to build that relationship. This is that one sentence that just brings people in, right? So I understand the podcasters struggle to build their brand. So I help them, and this is where the solution comes in. I help them stand out and monetize their show because I know that those two are one and the same in my market, right? Same way with health and fitness. If somebody's trying to live a healthier lifestyle, they're probably struggling to eat right and work out. So for a fitness trainer, it would be something like, I'm using this example a lot. I know. Don't judge me. I help them. It could be I help them live a healthier lifestyle through workouts and meal plans or something like that. You provide that solution. So that's a little framework that you use with your messaging. And if you notice, if you look at the best YouTubers, they do this at the beginning of their videos. Hey, you're watching my channel. I'm Coach Chris, and I'm here to help you. If you're a struggling podcaster, if you're just having issues with building your brand, then I'm going to help you stand out and generate revenue from your show. Obviously, be a little more polished than that. Don't judge me. I'm live here. But that's the way you present it to your people. When you present it that way, now in the beginning of the video, they're like, wow, I got to pay attention to this guy. Now, imagine if you put that same sentence of your message at the top of your profile, at the top of your bio, right? Imagine if you just kept putting it up on quote cards and posted it everywhere. That's part of your messaging. You want your message to constantly be fed to your people, always. And the beautiful thing is, if you put this in that content, like we talked about in the last section, now you're constantly driving those people to you. If you put it in front of every YouTube video, every podcast episode, if you even mention it every long form blog post, now you begin to become the go-to person for this information. You will start to dominate and create your own lane, because people that are having that problem, they know you solve it. And this is the beautiful part too. As you do all these things I'm telling you to do, at a certain point in time, other people start to refer you to solve your big problem. That problem you're solving, when they see somebody else having that problem, they call you. It's amazing. It is the wildest thing in the world to have people have problems and stuff. You don't even know them. And then people you might not even know, but they see all your content, all the stuff you post, and then they tag you like, oh, he can help you with that, or she can help you with that. That's amazing. So the messaging is a major key to your brand success. And I really hope you take all of these methods and systems and start creating your own lane, right? The market you're in, you don't need to be in the market struggling. It's too many entrepreneurs, and honestly, it's too many people that need help, right? Everybody needs to find their own lane. You need to create your own way. You don't need to do what everybody else is doing, even how they're doing it. You have to create your own. And the better you get at that, the sooner you get better at it, the easier it will be for you to reach the next level with your brand and start bringing in major revenue. Like, it's not hard to sell when you're the only person selling it. This is how it goes. So if you are interested in going to the next level, I have one of the craziest lead magnets ever. And I'm calling it a lead magnet because that's what it is. Let's be honest here. Like, I'm not gonna front. Like, yes, I want you to sign up to my mailing list. I'm not giving you something. I want to show you how I was able to make over 50K without a mailing list. And I'm being real when I say this. Like, I've built my mailing list multiple times and deleted it. Don't ask me why. I don't know. But I've built it a lot and I'll delete it. Built it up, deleted it multiple times. I'm not deleting it this time. I know I'm doing too much now to delete it. But if you want to take your brand to the next level, you don't need a mailing list to make it happen. But I want to show you how you can get there without that mailing list. I created a nice workbook and a full podcast episode. I'm a podcaster, man. So you got to understand, this is my thing. This is how I do it. So create your own lane. And if you need help with that, you got to check out the full breakdown, like how I built my entire brand without a mailing list, because all this stuff I just explained to you in this video on this live is exactly how you can do this. Like, it can work for you. You don't need a mailing list to make it happen. Now, you can build a mailing list while you're making it happen. I would advise that. I will. But don't let not having email subscribers stop you. Like, that's a terrible excuse. That's horrible. We're going to get that out of here immediately. So if you're ready to go to that next level, make sure you check it out. I am Coach Chris. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I really, really do. I hope to see you on the inside.
Yes, now go get at Coach Chris. You will always learn to grow your business, no matter where you are, what stage you're at, or what resources you have. Follow him for daily content on every social media platform. He is literally everywhere. Check out his podcast, and if you're ready to take it up a notch, reach out and find out how to work with him. I am always so grateful when he can show up, so thank you again, Coach Chris. And thank all of you for showing up to create your best life. As you know, this summit is free, so if you enjoyed what you learned here today, we would love your appreciation in the form of shares, likes, comments, and follows. And if you haven't already, please check out our weekly show, My Design Life, where we test methods and habits to live a life you love. You can connect with me at Tanya MFK and at My Design Life Show on Facebook and Instagram, and learn more about our workshops, courses, and coaching at TanyaMFK.com. And remember, your someday starts today. Make it the best. I'm Tanya MFK, and I'll see you next time.
Welcome to My Designed Life.